I think our inner world segment is going to be even more amazing today because of that number that you just discovered.
You must be talking about 1 quadrillion, which is 1 billion multiplied by 1 million.
What makes that part of our inner world focus is that 1 quadrillion is the number of connections in the human brain.
And 1 quadrillion is more than all the stars we know about in the universe.
So our brain is an internal universe that our inner world guide, Michele Bernhardt, says has infinite healing potential.
That's right, Judy and Roy. Those 1 quadrillion connections remind us that we are a lot more powerful and miraculous than we may have previously suspected. And these connections can do a lot for us, especially when it comes to transforming the trauma in our lives. And new techniques have been developed to tap into this powerful healing potential deep inside our brain.
Stay on the spot here. And what's coming up now?
In the right hands, this pointer can help lead the way to new worlds of healing and transformation. David Grand is a psychotherapist, author, and developer of a technique called Brainspotting to treat trauma buried deep inside the brain and body.
The watchword for Brainspotting is where you look affects how you feel. With Brainspotting, we use the field of vision to find literally where you're holding the trauma or symptoms in your brain, because the eyes are very connected to the subcortical brain. Eye positions, or brain spots, help to locate where that activation is in the brain, which is felt in the body. And if you can help a person to find physiologically where the problem is in their brain and where they're holding it in their body, and we can help them to process it. In addition to using eye position, with most clients we use this gentle bilateral sound, which can be nature sounds or gentle music. So this bilateral sound is a way of helping a person stay calm and grounded and helping both parts of the brain to work together. And at the same time, it actually opens the brain up for change.
For artist Bobby Van, Brainspotting has been profoundly transformational in dealing with a trauma that was 3 decades old.
I came to David because I had heard about the work he was doing, and it was time for me to be honest with myself. I'm a rape survivor. It happened 35 years ago, and I didn't have the courage to report it. And I found that in denying that it even happened, it was stopping every ounce of creativity I had in my life. I did talk therapy, I did core work, I did a number of other work, but I was still stuck, and I couldn't get through what was hurting me so much. And I started to work with David, and everything changed. I mean, there was a sense of my brain and my heart and my body sort of connected, and I was released. And I would go into the painting studio, and my work changed. It was like everything, I knew what was inside of me. It's almost like I felt there was another person inside of me, and that other person came out. And she painted wildly, and she painted 6 and 7 hours at a time. And all of a sudden, everything changed in my life.
David Grand's Brainspotting technique is helping people deal with a wide range of traumas in addition to rape.
This is a rock from,
Can I touch it?
Sure, from Ground Zero, from the Trade Center.
Brainspotting has been used to treat survivors of 9/11, the Sandy Hook shooting, and Hurricane Katrina.
I never knew I had that voice. I never knew I had that creativity inside of me.
It's also being used to enhance creativity and performance, and is widely available in the US, Europe, South America, Australia, and the Middle East.
Everything we do with Brainspotting is aimed at helping the brain to begin to consider things differently, which means to begin to explore new neural pathways. The brain is very capable of changing itself, much more so than we knew 20 years ago, and we call it neuroplasticity. And the neural pathways, instead of going down those same traumatic pathways, starts to go down new pathways that recognize that the trauma is over, that the person has survived, and that they've healed.
Something I remember very distinctly, I always would walk down the street thinking somebody was going to hurt me. Somebody was going to come from the back and grab me, because that's what happened. And all of a sudden, I could walk down the street and I didn't have that fear inside of me. And it wasn't just one day, it was just like something moved. And I've never gone back to that feeling again, right in the session. I connected, and it was like, and my whole being changed.
Trauma blocks us from being who we are meant to be and who we're capable of being as human beings, as creative beings. And when you heal from trauma, you find out things not only about yourself, but about the world that allows you to change in ways you couldn't imagine.
I think the biggest gift you can give yourself is permission to deal with the things that are painful to you. Because if you don't, you're always going to regret the life you never had. And that, to me, is the worst way to go through life. There's a beautiful poem by Rumi called The Guest House, and he talks about fear, joy, love, shame, and he says, feel it all because it takes you to the next place. And that, to me, is what life is all about.
I couldn't agree more. What a fabulous addition that segment is to our understanding of how we can use trauma as a portal for transformation.
I know, and as we said in the beginning of this story, many amazing things can happen with those 1 quadrillion connections. But don't you think it's interesting the correlation between the vast number of stars in the universe and the quadrillion connections in our brain?
Yes, like we really are part of the universe. We're really not separate.
Yeah, and that our potential is limitless.
And I also really like Bobby Van's comment about giving ourselves permission to deal with the things that are painful in our life. Bobby also feels very strongly, as I do, about the need to erase the stigma many people have about seeking help for mental health issues.
Boy, is that a big issue. As a matter of fact, in the course of interviewing our trauma experts, everyone, including David Grand, told me we all need to help change society's attitudes about this so that everyone can get the help that they need.
People are fine with being able to go to a physician if their leg is broken to get that healed, or any other physical ailments, they feel that's fine. But there's a stigma attached to mental health treatment. And what people really need to understand it is a physical problem. 21st century therapy has to do with being able to access the memory the way it's currently stored in the brain, stimulate the information processing system of the brain, and guiding it and allowing it to arrive where it needs to go.
I feel like we're much more comfortable with physical injury than we are with mental illness. People sort of have a stigma about it, which is really unfortunate. So many times if people get the right help, they can move through it and doesn't have to be something that's in their way for forever.
Mental health issues are no different than physical health issues. Everybody goes to the doctor, or at least should go to the doctor, to find out just that we're okay, and occasionally if we're not, then what to do about it. Mental health is no different.
I think we're going to get to a point in our culture and our society where it should be everyday conversation. I think people are going to be talking about their trauma like they're talking about what they had for breakfast. I think the media will play a fantastic and important role in destigmatizing trauma in everyday life. I think it will get to a point, I hope it gets to a point, where people can start to talk to each other in a very real way.
Michele, I think we talk to each other in a very real way.
Yes, we do.
I think Regina's right about the media playing an important role in changing our point of view about mental health issues. The media does have the power to be used for good.
Exactly. I think that was your original intention in creating Healing Quest.
Yes, it was. And these issues are now attracting a lot more attention in the mainstream media and in documentaries, and all of that is having an impact. So thank you so much, Michele, for bringing us these positive stories to Healing Quest.
Well, I think it's really important to get the word out and to realize, that we're not alone, that these things can happen to anyone.